There was a lot of anticipation about Release 10 being put out by Tesla. And we can see that we just got Release 10, and I had it installed last night. So we can actually take a look at it and see what the release notes have to show us about Release 10. So let's hit that. And so there's some new features they added. And one of the first things is Cuphead. And that's a new game that they've added, and it allows for the use of the USB ports. You can have a USB controller actually controlling your game, which is kind of cool. Tesla Theater, which allows for the car to be able to stream videos using Hulu, Netflix, and other services. Spotify, you can actually use your Spotify account. Used to be that they only had the one service. I can't even remember what the service name was, but now they're allowing for Spotify. There's something called karaoke, and this allows you to have a little fun and do some karaoke in your car. There's a browser and streaming media. This is something we've been asking about for a while now, actually having a browser and streaming media to allow you to stream directly to your car, which is really pretty cool. We'll talk about that in a minute. Driving visualization, so it actually fixed some problems over on this side of the screen. No more dancing car, basically, is what it amounts to. Feeling lucky or hungry, you can actually tap it and go to the nearest place that's something to eat or something fun. They did some map improvements to make some changes to the map itself so that you can actually do some things a little differently in there. We'll take a look at that. The mobile app. The mobile app itself has some new features in it, and it just updated itself. It was really cool. It turned on some features. They were in the latest release, and as soon as I downloaded version 10, it triggered an update to the actual app so that I have some new features in there. Dash cam improvements. This actually does some things with the way it stores the data and uses the data on your USB stick. As you may recall, I have a USB stick down here somewhere. It's hidden in there. There it is, it's hanging there. That may not look like the one I originally had in here. I actually replaced it with a one that has more capacity, so I have a USB stick that actually continues to get that store information. So they did some improvements with the way it stores it. And also Sentry Mode improvements. Again, there's some differences in the way that it works, but also they did some things with the Sentry Mode and the way it stores on the USB port. Joe Mode, I haven't played with this one yet, but this one's supposed to be the way that you can set the door chimes and all the chimes in the car. There's a lot of loud beeps and different things that happen, and they fixed some things so that they will beep a little differently. Software update improvements. I thought the software update was pretty slick, so software update improvements is pretty good anyway. Bluetooth media improvements, so we can better integrate with the phone when we're actually trying to do some Bluetooth stuff. Application launcher, they changed the way the application launcher looks, which is just fine. The driver, and finally the driver profiles, they changed the way the driver profiles save and are used. So that's kind of helpful, and I'll probably figure out how that works in the next little while. So that's the base of everything they gave us. Now we can take a look at all of these fun things and see what it looks like. The map first. So I've got the map up, and let's say I'm feeling hungry, and let's see what comes up. So it found the steakhouse that's just around the corner from here. So that's the place that it came up with. Okay, that's kind of cool. Let's try another one. Pizza Fusion, pizza place that's nearby. Okay, cool. I like that place. We could go there. Let's say we're feeling lucky. What does it find around here? Everglades Airboat Tours. It's a few miles from here. We could go out in the Everglades and take an airboat tour. Let's try another one. Young at Art Museum. Good for kids. Nice little museum they have nearby, so we could always head out that way. But kind of fun. It tells you some stuff that's nearby, so you can play around with it a little bit and pick some things that you're interested in. So that's kind of cool. So now let's play around with, for a minute, the streaming function. And streaming allows you to come in here and do some different things with the way you set up your streaming, so you can actually listen to your favorite radio stations that are streamed through either Spotify or TuneIn. You can see we have TuneIn available too. I'm going to go ahead and click on TuneIn because I've already gone through and set up some of my favorite podcasts in here. And I can click on any of the podcasts and listen to them at any time. This is my own podcast. This is my podcast about Disney World. So I can tap on that and listen to my own podcast, which is kind of cool. Not that I need to listen to my own, have an ego trip and listen to my own podcast, but you get the idea.
Now it's time for the Disney View podcast. Please move across your car to make room for everyone.
So that's pretty cool. So as I look at this, I actually have that information stored here along with the other icons. So I can tap on any of these at any time, just like I would a radio station, and store them as favorites. Now, for now at least, they're letting us stream it using the LTE service that they offer. I imagine at some point they're probably going to have to charge for that, because this is a short-term fix to be able to let us do that, but still pretty cool that they're letting us do that for now. So you can set up your podcasts and do some podcasts you want to listen to, radio stations you want to listen to, and so forth. As long as they come through Spotify or TuneIn, you're fine. If they come through some other app, you have to use your phone to connect to it. But that's okay. I mean, as far as that goes, it's pretty cool. Karaoke is actually pretty cool. Let's go ahead and pick one here, and we'll just let it start. And there you go. It brings up the music, and it actually starts playing the song.
Let it go! Let it go!
So then there's the web browser that I have available to me. I can see it's right there, and I can actually tap on it to go to the web, which lets me get out on the internet, which is pretty cool actually. So here's the Tesla website. I can put anything in there I want and get to a website. So that's actually pretty cool. And again, using the LTE service for now, that's fine. That's all good. The other thing we have available to us is if we come back over here, we have entertainment now. Now we still do have the arcade. It's just one of the two tabs, so we can see Cuphead and the other arcade games that we've had before. But we also have theater mode, which allows us to pick some things we want to watch. We can log into Netflix or Hulu or YouTube and start watching some things. I'm going to go ahead and pick YouTube for now and just let it log in a second. And again, using the LTE streaming, I can see things. I can see my screen is really dirty. I'm going to have to clean that soon. And you'll come up with a bunch of things. So here's I actually have a video series I do here. So here's one of my videos that I can click on, and I can actually stream my own video in my own car. That's, to me, that kind of blows me away. It's kind of cool in its own way. So this is the Lost and Found in Walt Disney World series I have. If you're interested in Walt Disney World, you might want to check this out. It's actually pretty cool. It's a fun look, sort of like looking at Walt Disney World from a different perspective, so, sort of historically, some of the things that are out there. So if you look at my YouTube page for this Tesla site, you'll notice there's a link on the side to Lost and Found Walt Disney World. You can certainly click on it and go over and see the site that way too. But this is actually pretty cool. It's a nice little screen we've got here, and the resolution's pretty good on it.
Outside of the Walt Disney World Resort, head over to Lake Eola. I mentioned in the preview that the post-parkside apartment complex.
So how about that? Pretty cool, right? That I have this ability to watch a video here in the car. And as I said, I can actually watch anything I want. I can do Netflix or YouTube or Hulu. I just can't remember my logins to any of those at the moment, so I'm kind of stuck because I can't remember how to log into them. If I could, later on I'll remember my logins and I can play around with it, because I could be sitting here watching, football or something. As I said, for now they're giving us the LTE service, and that, the quality of that is not so great. At some point, I think they're going to take that away, and you'll have to connect to either Wi-Fi or pay them for the service or something. So just like what they're doing. I like some of the things they're doing here. I like some of the changes they've made. So far, I'm pretty impressed with some of the things that they've done. I like the way they've added some things in here. Now, I still can't modify these stations that I've created in any way, but if I find these same stations somewhere else and have them, I can actually have the station come up like that. I just picked that one as an example earlier. So I can actually listen to that if I want to, and that's fine. So I can pick a station, and then it would have the entirety of the description listed there. So that's an option for me too. If I want to go ahead and take these stations back out and look for them on, through here, I can look for them. There we go. Let's see. I don't see it on the list here. Maybe it's here and I just don't see it. I'll keep looking. Anyway, the idea is I could theoretically add any of these stations if they're here to it, and then I could do away with that. But to be honest with you, now that I have the ability to have my podcasts and everything with me, I'm not really worried about it anymore. I don't really need those radio stations necessarily, because I can listen to podcasts all the time. I was doing that through my phone anyway, but now it's perhaps simpler, and I can do it as I go through this. So pretty cool so far. The things that I've seen so far I really like. There's still some things I want to play around with some more and see how they work, but as a starting point, I'm pretty happy with what Release 10 is giving me. I didn't get autopilot with my car. I decided not to purchase the autopilot feature or the self-driving. But there are some new features that appear here under autopilot that weren't here before. I had the speed limit warning, the speed limit relative, the collision warning, and the lane departure avoidance. I'm going to go ahead and go to warning on that. But there's some new features here. Emergency lane departure avoidance, blind spot collision warning, automatic emergency braking, and obstacle awareness. Those weren't there before. Those are new.